Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
Do you have kids?
No, sir.
Okay. Because in your mind, the idea that you have to bury your child is something that's so unfathomable that I could see it being devastating. In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Daniel Green claims his property was damaged when his mother got into a fight with her abusive boyfriend. Mr. Green is suing his mother, Sarah Green, in the amount of $600. Ms. Green claims she doesn't owe her son any money since her boyfriend initiated the fight.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas.
I don't know what is going on here, but you're suing your mom for $600.
Yes, Your Honor.
Prove your case.
Well, Your Honor, this is about property damage that was sustained to my apartment. And
Right.
really, the story dates back like a while now. And my mother, she's a good woman. She raised me and my brother as a single mother for years. However, she got into a little trouble, and she's kind of fallen down on hard times.
Well, let me hear from
let
Mom.
her-
Mom, what's going on?
I lost my son Alex about 2 years ago from
You
cancer.
had two sons.
Yes, he's my oldest. And Alex was my youngest son, and
And you lost him, you said
I lost
cancer?
him to cancer.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And it was just a lot. He had to go through chemotherapy. The medical bills were mounting. I didn't know how I was going to pay the bills. I even had to skip a month of his chemotherapy because we couldn't pay for it. And I blamed myself, and I started drinking. And my son helped me. I moved in with my son.
You were living with him at the time this happened?
I wasn't.
Where were you living at when this
I
happened?
have my own place.
You went back to your place.
But I couldn't work because I was looking after my son. So I waitress part-time
Yes.
at a supper club. And so I moved in with my son, and he worked with me to try to get me sober. And, you know,
Had you had a drinking problem before?
I drank off and on, yes, I did. Because I work around alcohol. I work in a supper club. And so...
Did she have a problem with alcohol?
Not throughout our entire life. However, it did get worse when my brother passed. She couldn't.
Well,
she
because
was self-medicating.
Do you have kids?
No, sir.
Okay. Because in your mind, like I have two sons. I'm just assuming that they will see me in the grave, that they will bury me and live on. The idea that you have to bury your child is something that's so unfathomable that I could see it being devastating.
I understand, and that's the reason why I had to move in with me. And so things were good for a while.
Yes.
She got, got it back on track, but it's a larger issue at hand. Like, she has a pattern with just bringing just bad men into her life, and that's pretty much how this whole situation
Well,
even
that's
came
your
up.
opinion. Bad according to you.
Well, let's talk about your dad. What's the story with your dad?
He's not around. He never
Vanished
was.
in the thin air?
Did Mr. Green and your son Alex both have the same dad?
No.
Okay. Alex's dad, what was his situation?
Same.
Okay. The common denominator in both those situations is you.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
But
What is it about you, I got this, that you feel you're being drawn, or these men are being drawn to you? What is it?
I have no clue. I don't know.
Okay. So
Because I don't think it's me. I think that's the way men are. That's what they do.
You just think men by nature, all men,
Yes.
including your son. Here's the challenge. If he didn't have a relationship with his father, and he didn't have a relationship with Alex's father, who's teaching him how to be a man? Because that goes back to Mom.
Well,
Precisely.
I'm doing what I can do.
In this,
And
in this given situation, while we're here today, she was engaging with a guy by the name of Jay. She invited him over to my house for dinner, and in 2 seconds you could tell this guy is like, is a sketchy guy. I'm trying to make conversation with him. I'm trying to engage with him. He's being rude. He's even disrespecting my mother in my own house to her face. She's prepared dinner for us. I'm trying to have a conversation with him.
And you're at your house.
Yes, my mother's living with me at this point.
But he interrogated him like he was the police. Upon first meeting him, he didn't give him a chance. So I think that
A man comes
the
into your
meeting
house.
going haywire had equal blame.
Are you still seeing Jay right now?
No, I'm not.
Tell
What's
him why.
his story?
Jay is in jail right now for domestic violence for another woman that he was seeing in addition to myself.
The common denominator is you, once again.
Coming up on America's Court.
She's got to get her life together.
She has to. She just has to. This is a critical moment. At this point, it's just me and her.
And later,
He had offered to compensate me because I had already paid for the room.
Is that true?
No.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Daniel Green, who is suing his mother, Sarah Green, for property damage.
What's going on, Mom?
He claims that I was the aggressor in a fight that Jay and I had at his house.
What do you mean he claims you were the aggressor?
Daniel,
Tell me what happened
my
between you and
son,
Jay.
Jay came over, well, a few days before he came over, we had an argument, and my son came home, and I was crying, and I had a black eye. And my son wanted me to call the police, and I just told
What
him...
caused the black eye?
Jay and I, we had an argument about a recurring relationship other than the one he and I was having. And
Did he cause your eye to be blackened?
yes,
Okay. And did you...
but it was an accident.
You see, Jan, this is what I'm talking about. I come home from work after working a long day.
A lot of dysfunction here.
I come in, my mother's sitting on the couch. I'm asking her how her day is. I turn on the light. I discover she has a black eye. I automatically knew how this happened. And I asked her, I'm like, did Jay do this to you? And of course, she's trying to cover for him. And I then confronted my mother, and I told her, you need to call the cops because we know how this ends. And we've been down this path before. Like I said, Jan, there's been a history here with my mother. If my brother was alive, he'd say the same thing. It's true.
Okay,
Like,
but we're
we've
not
been
here to
through it.
talk about Alex, and I don't like how you
The
always
truth-
bring him up.
The truth is the truth is the truth. I came home, she had a black eye. I told her, you need to call the cops.
Right, you
or
told
else
me
I'm
that.
kicking you out. You can't stay with me. I can't live like this. You see, I don't live my life this way, Your Honor. Despite the pattern that's been set here, I don't...
The challenge is
I don't-
whatever we see growing up, as much as we don't want to be in that space, we end up mimicking what we are exposed to, Mom. And now I understand, because you're not really suing her about $600.
It's about sending a message. It's
She's got to
about...
get her life together.
She has to. She just has to. This is a critical moment. At this point, it's just me and her. My brother's not here anymore, and I understand how circumstances could guide somebody down a certain path.
The
but
day
this
that
is
this incident occurred, had you been drinking?
A little.
That's a yes. Was there alcohol in the house?
I don't keep alcohol in the house.
When this happened with her and Jay on this particular incident, was there alcohol in the house?
Not that I was aware of. This particular incident while we're here today is because something else happened.
Right.
I was in the room. I was in the other room. This guy Jay comes over, and
Oh, you weren't expecting Jay.
I wasn't. I was in the other room. I was in my room. Jay comes in, apparently. I hear all this loud yelling and noise. I'm hearing glass shatter. I'm hearing just furniture being moved. At that point, I run out of my room, and I see my mom swinging on this guy.
Okay.
There's furniture destroyed. There's holes in my wall. My
And what
carpet-
is he doing?
What is he doing? He's pushing her off of her.
Okay. Were you swinging on her? That's a yes. Okay.
I was defending myself.
You were
I had a
defending
black
yourself.
eye a week earlier, so what was I supposed
Well, why
to do?
let him in if you had a black eye earlier? Why would you even engage at that point?
Well,
When you
he
keep-
was accusing me of calling the police on him for domestic violence, which I didn't. I told my son I called the
Honor.
police, but I didn't.
My mother's not well, and that's what this is about. Like, she really needs help, and that's what this is about. That's why we're here today.
$600. You have proof of your damages here?
I do.
Let me see it. Was their property destroyed, Ms. Green?
Yes,
Why don't you feel you're responsible for reimbursing your son?
because
This
I'm not.
lamp, this table.
I'm not a big old strong man going toe to toe with me. I'm no match for him. Obviously, he did the damage. He pushed me into the table. I fell on the table. The table broke. He punched the wall on the way out. He threw a lamp.
Then
I
why-
didn't do any of
then
that.
why do you think
I
that
might have
he's-
brushed against him.
Okay. That's some of the damage. But your son was very clear as to what he saw. And he's suing you, his mother. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the plaintiff in this case. I believe you caused the damage that resulted in this situation taking place. So I'm going to give him the $600, and you will pay him that. But I also want to give you this. You deserve to have someone who will treat you the way you should be treated. You deserve that. Get some help. That is the order. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $600.
I just appreciate the judge taking the time to speak to my mother today. This was always about sending a message to her. I just really hope that she gets the help that she needs, and I just want to know that I truly love her.
I'm going to really take the advice that Judge Ross gave me to heart, and I'm going to respect myself and fix my relationship with my son.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
He had offered to compensate me because I had already paid for the room.
Is that true?
No.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Billy Knopp claims she's owed for a trip to Mexico because her ex-boyfriend failed to get his passport in time. She's suing Joseph Michaels in the amount of $537.05. Mr. Michaels admits that he didn't realize he would need a passport, but claims he thought the trip was a gift from the plaintiff.
Ms. Knopp, prove your case.
I'm basically suing the defendant because we went on a trip, and because of some things that he did, I incurred some expenses, which he promised to cover. He verbally agreed to cover them.
And why did you take Mr. Michaels on the trip?
We were celebrating a deal that I had made at the company, and so...
The two of you work together?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Michaels, how long have you been working with the company?
I've been working there for 6 months.
All right. And after 6 months, something happened that caused for you to celebrate, and out of all the co-workers, you decided to take Mr. Michaels because?
Well, because where I was going, he said that he never traveled there before.
Okay.
And the other coworkers had, so I thought it would be a good opportunity.
This wasn't a romantic trip.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I got into the real estate business because my mom, basically, she told me this would be a good way, get commissions and stuff like that.
What were you doing prior?
I was just working from job to job, nothing
Okay.
really serious.
And your mom was like, time to grow up.
Time
and
to
do
get
something.
serious and start making that bank.
And you
So,
said, okay, I'm going to pursue real estate.
yeah.
And you ended up having contact with Ms. Knopp?
Yeah, she has one of the leading firms in Beverly Hills, so I ended up working for her
Are you a
office.
broker?
I'm a real estate agent.
No, I'm saying, I know you're an agent, but I'm saying, is it your brokerage company, or are you just
No,
one of
I'm
many
not.
agents?
I'm not the top boss, I'm just one of the
Okay,
agents.
you're one of the agents, all right.
I'm one of the top selling agents.
Okay, got it. And you ended up being assigned to her because you didn't know her before.
Yeah, I ended up being assigned to her, and I was looking for more of that mentor.
You were looking to be mentored.
I was looking to be mentored.
That's what they call it now, huh?
Coming up on America's Court.
He had offered to compensate me because I had already paid for the room.
Is that true?
No.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Billy Knopp, who is suing Joseph Michaels for $537.05.
You end up getting a big sale.
Yes.
You're already one of the top producers, so I take it this was a really big one.
Yes.
And you decided, I'm going to go celebrate with Mr. Michaels.
Correct.
And where'd the two of you go?
We went to Mexico.
Went to Mexico. And you go to Mexico, and then what happens?
So what happened was we were supposed to stay for 5 days. We ended up only staying for 4.
Okay.
Because...
Separate rooms?
No, same room.
Okay.
And so he apparently didn't know that he needed a passport to go to Mexico. So the trip was delayed. So then I ended up, paying for an extra day, and we got there a day late. And the villa wouldn't give us a refund. So I ended up losing money on that one night.
Okay. And
so he had offered to compensate me because I had already paid for the room.
Is that true?
No.
Was there a problem with the passport?
Yeah, there's a problem with passport.
Okay. That part is true based on what she just conveyed.
Yeah, that
to
part's
me.
true, yes.
All right. Was there a conversation about that lost amount of money?
Yes, there was.
And what was that conversation?
The conversation was I was in the process of closing a big sale myself.
What was the conversation about the one day that you missed because of the lack of the passport?
Yes, sir. As soon as the sale that I just got, as soon as it went through, that I would pay her the difference.
You agreed to pay her back.
Yes.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
You owe her the money.
It was a gift, and it was a tax write-off.
Are you for real?
Yes, yes, I'm for real. I mean, for one, when she got the sale, things were getting pretty intimate. She was very excited about the sale. I was excited also. She invited me to the trip. She stated that she would pay for the hotel accommodation. I would pay for the flights, which I paid for the flight. She paid for the hotel. She let me know 2 days prior to the trip that I needed a passport to go to Mexico. Mexico's right after 405. I'm in California. It's a couple hours down the road. I didn't know I needed a passport. So that forced me to go to the passport agency. I had to spend $300 to get a passport expedited. And I calculated the money that I was out from that. And also, by her getting me out for the sale.
What's my body language telling you?
That we're not on the same page.
Exactly. You already said that you told her, I will pay you back once I get this commission. Mm-hmm. You agreed to pay her back. Mm-hmm. You didn't tell me, you said, but if I don't get the commission, you get $0. Did you tell me that?
No, I didn't.
No! So based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel has to come down in favor of the plaintiff. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $537.05. That is the order. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $537.05.
A deal is a deal is a deal. He agreed to pay me back, so I'm glad I took him to court to get my money back.
I may have lost my case, but she lost a good man.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.